Hello, we are doing something different, doing just a pretty basic commentary. That Spider Baby, as you can see, also known as the maddest story ever told. It's directed by Jack Hill, released in 1967, although this was originally shot in 1964. Famous for starring Lon Chaney Jr., this is later in his career, and he's also doing this whole intro song, which you have to listen to appreciate.
Cannibal spiders creep and crawl, boys and ghouls having a ball. Frankenstein, Dracula, and even the Mummy are sure to end up in...
Him referencing Universal Monsters, not the only time that happens in this movie, and we'll have to point that out when it happens. And you see Sid Haig. This is early in his career. Famous for going into Rob Zombie movies.
Some toadstools and weeds, and add an old owl, and the young one she breeds, mixing 7 legs from an 8-legged piece, and then you're all set for...
Cannibals. I guess he'll say the actual title, but there was multiple possible titles for this movie before it came out.
Sit round a fire with this cup of brew, a fiend and a werewolf on each side of you.
Cannibal Orgy, that was another possible title, I think purely because Jack Hill thought it sounded funny. And I think this was Jack Hill's first feature-length movie. Here we're gonna get some lore about the Mary syndrome.
Mary syndrome, so called because its only known occurrence is among the descendants of one Ebenezer Mary, a progressive age regression beginning about the 10th year and continuing steadily throughout the victim's lifetime. It is believed that eventually the victim of the Mary syndrome may even regress beyond the prenatal level, reverting to a pre-human condition of savagery.
So apparently this all started with Ebenezer Mary, who he is and where he stands in the family tree, who knows. Here we're seeing Quinn Redeker playing Peter Howe, distant relative of the Mary family, and we'll hear more about that.
Of course, there's no Mary syndrome anymore. It was extinguished forever from the human race that fateful day 10 years ago.
And here we're seeing, this is Manton Moreland. He was known at the time for comedic roles, stereotypical African-American roles. This being made in the mid-1960s civil rights movement. I think people were trying to see less stereotypical roles, and his career was kind of declining, as you can hear.
Outside the Mary house.
If there is any such place, we don't know anything about it.
And I think the main reason we're seeing Moreland cast in a movie like this was just Jack Hill trying to push how this is not just a horror movie but also a comedy, and what we see later with Moreland, I think you'll understand. This was shot in August in Los Angeles, 1964, so I think you can imagine what the temperature was. Apparently the actors and crew were having to cool themselves off in buckets of water in between takes. And this gate you're seeing here, this was built specifically for the film. It has nothing to do with the house you're going to be seeing coming up. And it's kind of surprising because the budget of the film was only $65,000 at the time. So a gate like this kind of seems a bit indulgent based off of that amount. That was probably just someone behind the camera just shaking the bike. As he walks up to the house, you can kind of tell they were trying to avoid showing where the house was and what was around it. This was shot at the Highland Park in Los Angeles. It was gone on to be registered in the U.S. Registry of Historical Places, and you see they're trying to avoid seeing all the other fancy houses around it and palm trees. You can see the palm tree in the bottom left corner, but that was one that just was too difficult to avoid getting in frame. Why he sticks around, I'm not really entirely sure. A mailman just kind of drops the mail off and leaves, especially in a suspicious setting like this. But you wouldn't have an important plot point without this.
Anybody home?
Yeah, the stereotypical.
Please say yes, somebody's home.
Pretty obvious why they were trying to get rid of that acting style typecast in the mid-60s civil rights movement.
Hello in there.
Now you're seeing in here, this is the only shot of actually inside the house. And the cinematographer, the DP, accomplished this by just bouncing 6 lights of actual sunlight into this. Apparently the house had no electricity. Alfred Taylor was the videographer, the camera person.
It's to give the bug a bit.
And here we're seeing Joe Banner. And Jack Hill casting a known comedic actor and seeing him getting murdered, I think was pretty intentional. He's said in interviews how off-putting that would be to an audience.
Virginia, are you crazy?
Here's Beverly Washburn. She's Virginia's sister, Elizabeth.
I hate you.
She was said to say she was self-conscious throughout acting in this movie, but I think, as you can tell, and further on, that doesn't really matter in a movie like this. And Lon Chaney Jr. Is 58 during the filming of this, and definitely during the decline of his career, kind of getting stuck in B-horror movies, but I think you can definitely tell and throughout the movie, and we'll point out how he's definitely the most professional and qualified actor, and it's almost hilarious how he has to interact the chemistry with other actors where they're literally acting in their first ever feature-length movie. These vehicles that you're seeing also had to be pretty hard on the budget of the film. How much they cost to rent a day definitely probably wasn't cheap. More palm trees then. It was You just couldn't avoid getting in frame.
Elizabeth! Virginia! Elizabeth!
And the whole story about how they got Lon Chaney to star in this, originally they were only able to offer him $2,500, and he would obviously decline that. But then Jack Hill would go on to offer the role to John Carradine, another Universal monster actor, famous for playing Dracula in House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula. But little did Jack Hill know that Lon Chaney Jr. and John Carradine shared managers. So Lon Chaney Jr. found out that John Carradine was offered the role, and just out of jealousy, I guess, he's like, all right, I'll take it.
One time I hit the ball. And now this.
I always thought it was funny how Bruno just kind of shrugs off a dead mailman hanging out of the window. It's not the first time he's had to come home to a dead body.
You should hate her.
No! I left you in charge. Virginia! Virginia, you come here right now.
Ralph!
Wait.
And Ralph, we're seeing here, played by Sid Haig. His design, it's obvious how much this film had influence on films soon after. Hills Have Eyes, and we'll see later on movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the themes of inbred families and how they're gone crazy and live in this house together. And Tobe Hooper definitely saw this movie before making Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Virginia, now you stay right there.
There's rumors that Lon Chaney Jr. had nicknames for Jill Banner and Beverly Washburn that he would call them in between takes. Apparently he called Jill Banner Cracker Ass, and Beverly Washburn he referred to as Bubble Butt. What those mean and why, not entirely sure.
Those two children climbed over the wall, and Virginia almost caught them in her spider web. Well, that got people to wondering about us. And that's bad. Your daddy wouldn't like that, Virginia. Now, I can't be here all the time.
Important to mention, Jack Hill, of course. Don't want to forget that he's famous for directing many exploitation movies. Coffee, Bloodbath, Foxy Brown, Switchblade Sisters. Would go on to influence the likes of Rob Zombie, as I mentioned before, but especially Quentin Tarantino. You can see the influence of Foxy Brown and Coffee in movies of his like Jackie Brown, Switchblade Sisters, and Kill Bill. He's gone on to say that Jack Hill is the Howard Hawks of exploitation filmmaking. Just being the amount of genres he was able to make in exploitation. Howard Hawks obviously did Scarface in 1932, The Big Sleep with Humphrey Bogart, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes with Marilyn Monroe, and Westerns with John Wayne. Just prolific. Jack Hill was prolific as well.
They want to become your legal guardians. As the only other known surviving heirs of the estate of Titus W.
Titus. Their dad's name, I guess, is Titus, apparently. So we know Ebenezer, Titus, and Virginia, Elizabeth, Ralph. And from an inbred family, who knows where they lie in the family tree, who their mother is. Yeah. Apparently this film was shot in 12 days. 12 days in August of 1964 in Los Angeles, so not easy, I think, being on this crew. And how Bruno disposes of bodies, another reason why he just... More proof is how he just shrugged off coming home to another dead body. There's a whole routine to what to do with the bodies. And why this movie kind of just got lost in time for a bit. Apparently the company that funded this movie was a real estate business, and they went bankrupt pretty soon after this film was made. The film got locked up for 3 years, and they really didn't build a fan base until it was released on VHS. I think that's how Quentin Tarantino and Rob Zombie probably saw it.
Hey! Look out!
I'm coming, Uncle Ned.
Where is Uncle Ned lying in the family tree with their dad Titus? Are they brothers? Now this movie, now that we're having scenes inside the house, apparently this is all done on a soundstage over in Anaheim, and each level of the house, the first level, this basement, the second level, more evidence how this was a comedy. Just having to swerve.
Really, Emily? I mean, I wish you'd kind of...
Peter, if you don't like my driving...
And people seeing this originally when it came out in 1967, they had a hard time accepting this was a comedy. It's pretty hilarious. And now they're just driving straight down the road. Here we're seeing Carol Omart. You recognize her probably from House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. Another car that was probably not easy on the budget, and renting it every day that they used it. But like I was saying, the house being shot on a soundstage. Each level was shot on an individual day, so that basement was shot on a day. All the shots shot on that first floor were done in a day. And they accomplished doing that on a single soundstage by just moving walls. And coming up here, just pay attention to the bottom left corner of the window once Peter gets out.
I don't see any sign of, what's his name? The lawyer.
Obviously, he hasn't arrived as yet. The caretaker here probably went to meet him in a horse and buggy.
Emily here is Peter's sister, and as he was discussing in the beginning of the movie, how they're the distant relatives trying to inherit the property and become their guardians.
Might as well go on up.
W line.
Coming up here in the bottom left corner of the window.
What's the matter, Peter? Chicken?
Well, I just don't think it's, just right to go barging in on somebody that you're about to sue.
Oh, just remember, we're trying to avoid that expense, if possible.
Well,
There in the left corner, you're seeing the reflection. That is the assistant director. You could tell on his face that he was getting noticed, and apparently nobody else noticed until the film was made. And this house, Highland Park in Los Angeles, like I said, it was registered in the National Registry of Historical Places. Went on to be in other films, Silent Scream in 1979, Insidious Chapter 2 in 2013. Apparently a previous owner was a judge, the name David Hatch. He wrote books about occultism, pretty ironic. Titles of his books were Letter from a Dead Man and 20th Century Christ. Now, a bit of foreshadowing of Ralph and Emily interacting, but we'll see that later. With Sid Haig, of course, associated with Rob Zombie, and Rob Zombie also has association with Spider Baby himself. His record label re-released the soundtrack, and his band White Zombie, of course, they had a song called Spider Baby. This road worker here also was a policeman in Carnival of Souls. Sidney Berger, I think is how you pronounce it. So another pretty ironic thing, how Carnival of Souls of the same era, public domain horror movie, went on to influence a lot of other movies.
Mr. Schlocker.
Mr. Schlocker and Anne. Anne is Mary Mitchell, and Carl Schanzer is Mr. Schlocker. Mr. Schlocker, Carl Schanzer, he would be a frequent collaborator with Jack Hill. His other movies, Wasp Woman, Bloodbath, and Francis Ford Coppola's Dementia 13. And Jack Hill and Coppola went to school together. And Jack Hill was also an apprentice, I guess you could say, of Roger Corman. And from Roger Corman, he learned the philosophy, making movies with maximum effect with minimum means. And if you've seen a Roger Corman movie, I think you know exactly what that means.
Well, thanks to your cooperation, it isn't. I appreciate that.
And Mary Mitchell, this is her only acting role ever in her career. She would go on to be script supervisor for other movies, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mask of Zorro in the 90s, and Scary Movie 4, so kind of stuck to the horror genre.
Now, Bruno, I'd like to ask a few questions, if you don't mind.
Very well, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Now, it's my understanding that for the past several years you have been the sole custodian of the 3 children of the late Titus W. Murray. Is that correct?
As you say, sir, for many years.
And that these same 3 children have never been allowed the benefits of any sort of formal schooling.
Oh, no, sir. The master wouldn't have allowed...
The master makes you wonder why Bruno is involved with the family, how he got associated, and how he knows the dad, Titus.
They're not ordinary children.
Well, I'm sure we can all agree to that, Bruno, but nevertheless...
You see, they're, well, you might call them retarded.
Probably couldn't get away with saying that today.
So, nearly full-grown and never a day of school.
Oh, sir, I don't think you understand, Mr. Shocker.
I'm afraid you don't understand, my dear fellow. There are properly qualified institutions for the care of the deprived, especially when there are substantial estates to be administered. Frankly, I find the whole affair rather...
Pretty good example of Lon Chaney Jr. having to work with what he's got. With actors that this is their only acting role, or they only have acted in B-horror movies. Just has to work with what he's got, and he's there's a close-up of Sidney Berger. But Lon Chaney Jr. is just having to work with inexperienced actors, and he's worked in Oscar-nominated movies like Of Mice and Men.
My dear Miss Hall, so nice to see you here. And the young Mr. Hall.
Hi, Slocker, how are you?
Good to see you, my boy. Petey, this is my secretary, Miss Morris.
Hi, Miss Morris. How do you do?
Hi.
Skip the rest of it, Schlager. Let's go in.
I don't really mind Mary Mitchell's acting. She's definitely one of the better. But her whole character, Anne, I don't really... It's not really necessary.
Please treat the children tactfully. You see, they're not accustomed to strangers, and they might act wild if...
They might act wild if they're encouraged. And here's another example of the set design, more Roger Corman-esque, with making the most out of what you have. All the stuff you'll see hanging on the walls is, recycled throughout the house.
Ralph. Where's Ralph?
Ralph! Ralph!
Virginia.
Ralph! Ralph! Ralph!
What Sid Haig has gone on to say is one of his least favorite parts of this film was getting stuck in that dumbwaiter over and over again.
He's all right, Emily. He's just a big kid.
I think Quinn Redeker has gone on to say he was trying to channel Cary Grant for this role. Whether or not he is successful, I'll leave that up to you. Cary Grant, of course, from North by Northwest.
Are obviously in need of qualified professional care, wouldn't you say?
Well, there's a great deal in what you say, sir. But I gave their father a solemn oath that I'd never allow their unfortunate malady to become the object of public scrutiny.
Nonsense. The days when we hid our insane behind walls of shame went out with that old car of yours.
They're talking about us, Virginia. I know.
But, Mr. Shocker, an oath to a dying man, that can't be taken lightly.
Now, Bruno, what do you mean by malady? I mean, well, I've seen backward kids. Is it?
Well, no, it's more than a retard.
There we go, saying it again.
Sort of a regression, a progressive deterioration of
So
mental
he
faculty.
bluntly talks about the inbreeding now.
It begins in late childhood and progresses rapidly, ultimately resulting in...
How they say it progresses over time. I think it's fair to assume that maybe Ralph is the eldest sibling, the older brother.
Yes, the Mary family, or at least this branch of them, have been afflicted for generations. And I'm sorry to say, sir, I think this is the last generation.
What a shame. Bruno, you mean all three of these?
Yes, the unfortunate result of inbreeding.
Never mind that now, Bruno. We can go into all that at the proper time. Let's see. Yes. I would like to know the whereabouts of certain other members of the Murray family. The two sisters of Titus W. Murray and brother named, I believe, Nedrick Murray.
Two other members of the family, or three other members of the family, Uncle Ned, Aunt Martha, and the third, who we'll find out about later as well.
They're talking about Uncle Ned.
I know. Or Jill Vanner, I would say is probably the second most, the best actor in this movie. She's got natural talent behind Lon Chaney Jr. This is also her first ever movie.
Oh, I never thought of it that way, sir. You see, I promised the master that...
Yeah, we know all about that. Listen, Schlocker, it's been a long trip. I'd like to get cleaned up and get off my feet for a while. We can go through this after dinner.
Dinner?
Yes, it is dinner time. Matter of fact, Bruno, we intend to spend the night.
Oh, no, sir. That's quite impossible. Why, we're not prepared for guests.
There seems to be a difference of opinion as to who is the guest and who the host here. You do have food.
And they're seeing the condition of this house and how the siblings are, and they're still trying to inherit this house.
Yes, I suppose we could.
They want to be their legal guardians. Here, I'm assuming these mushrooms, it's just an easy, cheap prop. Those can't be real mushrooms.
I smell a bug.
And we're seeing how each sibling has got something to contribute to dinner. This cat, among other animals you see throughout the movie, several animals the animal handler probably had to deal with. How they got that sound effect, I don't really want to know. Hopefully it was just a stock sound effect. They didn't have to make themselves.
Virginia, you're doing so well.
Ralph is ready, Bruno.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Bring him right down.
They really made Sid Haig be the stunt person and do kind of whatever was needed when you see his costume.
For an absolutely clear-cut, prima facie, open and shut case.
Great. Now, all I want to know is what is it worth in dollars and cents?
Well, that's a little difficult to tell at this juncture. Perhaps with an audit. Miss Morris, give me Schedule B.
All right here, Mr. Schlager.
Of course, this is only the visible part of the iceberg, so to speak. With more information, we can project the curve.
And yeah, like I said, his least favorite part, Sid Haig's least favorite part, was getting stuck in that dumb waiter. And I'm sure he didn't enjoy this costume either.
Ladies and gentlemen, dinner is served.
Now, Jill Banner, almost forgot to mention, of course she was 17 in first acting role. She didn't want anybody to know she was, on set for this movie, that she was going to be in a movie, so even her parents weren't even aware that she was at work. But she also, I think, one of the things she's famous for is having to die pretty early on. I think she was in her 30s and she was in a car accident. But back in the 60s, apparently she was popular, I guess you could say, in the LA party scene. 1965, I think they were saying that she was seen partying with John Lennon, which historically kind of makes sense. 1964, 65, the Beatles were in LA, and played the Hollywood Bowl. In 1965 in LA is when they met Elvis.
Winifred. Winifred.
That animal, the tarantula, Jack Hill has apparently gone on to say the spiders were the hardest to deal with for the animal handler.
You came back.
Among the other animals seen later on, that's hard to believe.
Yes, we're waiting for you.
And yeah, now we'll learn which each sibling supplied for dinner.
Sit in your chair, Virginia, please.
What did Ralph get?
What is that?
Well, that's rabbit. Obviously. Not bad, Bruno. Looks done to a turn.
Thank you, sir. I hope you enjoy it. You know, we're very fortunate to have meat for our guests. You see, we're vegetarians.
Vegetarians?
It's dead.
They don't eat dead things. You can be a vegetarian if you're eating live meat.
Lord, man, why on
The
earth?
master.
Don't say it. You made a promise.
It was no idle whim, I assure you. The master knew of the grave danger.
The danger.
Yes, Bruno. What is that supposed to mean?
Well, the master believed, and he should know, that the eating of flesh would hasten the progress of their condition.
Now, I've heard everything.
Wait a minute, Bruno.
Eating meat only makes it worse, but they're eating live meat.
Taste of fresh meat, right?
I'm afraid it's even more serious than that, sir.
Well, whatever that is, a rabbit or whatever, I pass.
Well, it looks good to me. Hey, I'll carve.
Very Cary Grant-esque.
Carry on. Oh, and I must tell you all, you have Ralph here to thank for providing it.
Is that right? Good for you, Ralph.
Now Schlocker got stuck sitting across from Ralph. If you noticed earlier on, Emily stole his seat, then there was Anne, then Peter.
Our favorite dish. We call it souffled fungi.
What?
It's a fancy way of saying mushrooms. And that's what Virginia provided.
A real staple. They grow profusely on the grounds.
And also, I guess, appropriate to bring up during the dinner scene, Lon Chaney Jr., especially in the latter part of his career, famously an alcoholic, and his manager made a point to tell the crew to not let him drink on set. Rumor has it, though, that he was smuggling vodka on set, and he injected oranges with vodka. How true that is, don't know, but...
Well, Miss Howe, if you don't feel up to the heavier fare, perhaps you'd like to try some of our fresh garden greens.
Fresh garden greens. Can assume that's what Elizabeth is providing.
Allow me.
This thing isn't dressed. Isn't Ralph a vegetarian too?
Oh, yes. But Ralph's allowed to eat anything.
A vegetarian that's allowed to eat whatever he wants.
Oh,
Is that just potato chips? She's walking around with a chocolate bar and some potato chips.
Emily, this is very good. You don't know what you're missing.
As I told you, our diet is very austere. But it's most healthful.
You know, that's great. I think everybody ought to eat like that.
Oh, we have our delicacies.
And the fact that he's eating that, actually, was it actually a rabbit they had on set?
Oh, no, sir. You wouldn't want any of that.
The bug, another thing she's contributed to the meal. That bug she found under a rock.
Ugh.
What do you think about spending the night now, Emily?
You couldn't drag me away, Peter.
And the fact that now she's changed her mind. Now she doesn't want to spend the night.
Well, there's nothing more to say, Bruno. Now, let's make things easy on yourself. We want to be fair.
The sisters can move in together, and you and Ralph.
Well, we might do that. Oh, no, it's quite impossible. It's too dangerous. Hey, you see, this is an old building. The wood is rotten. You'd have to know your way about in the dark.
Nonsense. The next thing you'll tell us it's haunted.
Oh, no, nothing like that.
He means they're vampires.
Vampires, werewolves.
Wolves.
Are you a horror film fan, Miss Morse?
Oh, yes, I love it. Dracula,
Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy.
Mummy. I love the Mummy.
All movies. Lon Chaney Jr. also played the Wolfman. Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy.
There's going to be a full moon tonight.
If you're gonna have Lon Chaney Jr. in a movie, you have to get him to mention a full moon. Bringing up all monster characters that he played his time in the Universal Monster franchise.
Mr. Schlocker, I mean, if you don't need me anymore tonight, I could just as...
She's not even spending the night in the house. It makes you wonder, like, again, why is her character even a character in the movie? But it is what it is. I like Mary Mitchell, how she acts. Does a good job.
Yeah. Fine. Good idea. Just be sure you have her back on time, young man. Busy day ahead, you know.
Don't worry.
Thank you, Mr. Howe.
You're welcome.
Children, some of our guests are going to stay the night. Would you come help me prepare the rooms?
Yes, Bruno.
Another spider. If it was all the spiders that were hard to handle, or just the giant tarantulas, the jumbo tarantulas, that one, whatever that one was.
Lots of spiders. Do you like spiders, Mr. Howe?
It was a bit of a jump cut, but it is what it is. Kind of Roger Corman-esque. Do with what you have. And these recycled things on the wall, you'll definitely be noticing coming up here with all the scenes inside the house upstairs as well.
Good night, kids. Well, Miss Morris, we should be getting an early start.
I'd like that very much, Mr. Howe.
Pretty obvious example of use of one of the movable walls, not just one to change up setting, but actually to use as a prop.
There is something terribly wrong here. And I intend to find out exactly what it is.
Where they're going, why they're going, doesn't make much sense plot-wise, but hey, why not?
Say, it's still early, Miss Morse. Perhaps you'd like to have a drink at that inn in the village that Bruno mentioned?
I'd like that very much.
Just for a matter of getting them out of the house.
If you don't mind.
Oh, and you gotta get a howling of a wolf. Lon Chaney Jr. Gotta have a wolf. And here you can notice a taxidermy bird on the wall. And also coming up here with what you're about to see, I think Jack Hill has gone on to say how much he was influenced by Psycho, Hitchcock. Just not for this movie specifically, but just in his entire career.
I hate. You're not supposed to hate. You should too. They don't like spiders. I know. That little man looks just like a big, fat bug, doesn't he? Yes, he does.
And more evidence of how Jill Banner, this being her first feature-length movie, just as being an actress in general, is just another example of how impressive it was. She kind of was very believable to be a psychotic child. And here, even more obvious, just on the nose, Hitchcock influence and Psycho. What a psychotic child, how they remember their father, their parent. Look at this and tell me it's not a direct reference to Norman Bates and his mother. Now, coming up here, this is a pretty intentional continuity error that lasts a while. You're going to see an overlapping of some scenes, but it works, and plenty of movies use this as an intentional continuity error, but it's how you push the plot forward and not bore the audience. Here, more stuff hanging on the walls. You see a baby doll, you see some cobwebs, you see what the set designer was going for, babies and spiders. Carol Omari, definitely typecast. It's reminiscent of what you see her doing in House on Haunted Hill, where she's just in her underwear and getting scared and dancing around in her underwear while people are getting killed. Even more taxidermy burns. Now, the fact that we're cutting to Schlacher investigating the house while Emily is still just getting cozy. How long he's taking to investigate the house, and this is only the upstairs. Let's see, how many birds did we just see? 1, 2, I think there was 3 before. So we've got 4 birds, another spider. So, don't know which spider was the hardest to handle. And rats. The rats were easier to handle than the spiders. And an owl. A stuffed owl and the actual owl. The owl was easier to handle than the spiders. And how they get away with just having an owl in the house, who knows, but the Mayer family's got much worse stuff going on. And yeah, that whole time spent of Schlacher investigating that, just for that one floor of the house, and she's still just picking out what to wear. Oh, even more baby dolls and cobwebs. You got 2 baby dolls, spider web, and a spider. Here, this is the actual house. This is obviously not in the soundstage, but when you see later on, it's going to be a view from the soundstage. You're going to, well, don't want to spoil it. Sid Haig's favorite part of acting in this movie. Yeah, so you're seeing inside of the house. This is not the actual house. This is a soundstage, and Sid Haig having to hang upside down for who knows how long. And he's gone on to say that he like that even less than getting stuffed in the dumbwaiter. Not only a stuffed bird, but a bird cage. And it's the recycled on the left-hand side of the frame. You're seeing the baby doll that was previously hanging in Emily's bedroom. So Roger Corman-esque, using what you have, maximum effect with minimum means. And that rocking chair is gonna be a recycled prop set design piece. And why he's, still wanting to investigate and pretty calm after seeing an owl just in the house with a bunch of rats, and especially what he's gonna find right here, and still just cool with the idea of spending the night in this house. The fact that they hung on to the mailman's ear, and you saw Bruno put the mailman's body down in the dumbwaiter down in the basement, it makes you wonder what exactly were they eating for dinner, or what do they usually eat for dinner. He just found a severed ear, so he's like, I'll stick my hand in here, see what I find. No, nothing. And like we saw, that was Emily just dancing around in her underwear for whatever reason. She found some lingerie in this creepy house and decided to put it on and dance around. And we cut back to Schlocker just investigating the house, and who knows how much time has passed. But it works. And wherever Bruno's going, he thought he's supposed to be in bed with Ralph. Why is he just walking around? More birds, more dolls, baby dolls hanging from the ceiling. And although Bruno didn't like the idea of them spending the night, well, now he's got to lock up the gate, make sure they don't leave. Sound effects of frogs in the background. Acting like he's not already been in that room. He doesn't know what to find. We're seeing the movable wall again. And the fact that he's going into all these different rooms, this was probably a feat for the set designer. Having to organize each specific room with the same walls and just reorganizing the props. Now here, this is the exact same frame we saw earlier with Bruno walking down the stairs. It's framed exactly the same, so definitely shot this within just a few minutes of each other. Did one take with Bruno, said cut, and then got another take with Schlocker. And here, this is probably one of the more impressive shots in the whole movie. You got this panning, tracking shot of the whole basement, and you take in all of the decor on the walls and how much they actually put into designing the set. This creepy basement. What's that we're hearing? Who knows what's Emily still up to upstairs? I think we know what. Whose hands are those? Who knows? Definitely not Uncle Ned. Here, coming up here, this is one of the most quoted lines of the movie, and fans at horror conventions will be saying this to each other.
This has gone quite far enough. Ladies, beyond the bounds of prudence.
Beyond the bounds of prudence and good taste. Unrealistic lighting, but works.
I don't know what you people are up to here, but I'm going to have to call in the authorities.
Going to call in the authorities. There are laws.
Criminal laws,
It makes you wonder why Beverly Washburn was worried about overacting.
These things could be litigated.
Now Bruno's back. Why are you looking out the windows? You were just outside. It's not Ralph and the dumbwaiter. Said Haig would be happy about that. Still got the cigar in his mouth. And who's rolling him back up? Is that Elizabeth? Is that Virginia? Why are you rolling the body back up?
And now we can put him right back in his own bed, and Bruno will never even have to know.
No, this whole scene, even more proof of how Lon Chaney Jr. is the most professional, most trained actor in this film.
He was going to tell on us, Bruno.
Yes, Olivia.
They give him a whole monologue, deservedly.
Don't you worry, Virginia. I'm not going to hate you. I knew this was coming someday.
And how he's able to pull this off in
It's so soon.
just a low budget B horror movie.
Really and truly don't hate me?
I promised your daddy I'd never, never hate you.
You did? You ought to hate him.
Elizabeth, I told you.
You can see the tears starting to form in his eyes. An actor that can cry on command.
Something I want to tell you, and I want you to listen very, very carefully. A long, long time ago, I promised your daddy that I'd take care of you and Ralph forever and ever.
And some more family lore. Merry lore.
Came this Mr. Schlocker. He was a nasty, mean man. He wanted to take you away where old Bruno would never see you again. But you hurt Mr. Schlocker, and he can't do that now. But soon there'll be more Mr. Schlockers, and they'll be nastier and meaner than he was, and you won't be able to hurt all them because There'll be too many of them.
Basically just having to explain that you killed someone, so they're gonna be looking for you. The police are looking for you.
You, Bruno?
I promised your daddy I wouldn't.
Oh, those tears. And apparently, another rumor that Lon Chaney Jr.'s acting was so good that he started to make the other actresses cry, and even the crew. Once this take was done, he said cut, he got a round of applause from how good his monologue was.
Stay here forever and ever, Bruno.
He's able to make Beverly Washburn cry.
And Uncle Ned?
We will. I promise. Forever and ever. We will. You know, I know where they're...
Him just having to accept the fact that, you know, there's nothing else he can do protecting the kids. He's got to accept the fact. You see him going a little bit crazy himself.
Now, I have to go a little ways to get it. But it'll only take me a little while.
Please don't go away, Bruno. I'm scared.
It won't take but a few minutes. And I'll be back. Now, Elizabeth, I expect you to take care of your brother and sister and see that they don't get in any trouble. Will you do that?
Oh, I will, Bruno.
Safe to assume Elizabeth is maybe the youngest of the siblings. She's the least regressed. I think she's definitely more sane than Virginia. Virginia must be the middle child.
Oh, you gotta hurry.
He's definitely gone off the deep end a bit. Oh, she's still dancing in her underwear after all of that. Schlocker getting killed and that long monologue. She's just spinning in circles. And Ralph just hanging out upside down that whole time. All the blush rushing to his head. Reminiscent very much of how her character was treated in House on Haunted Hill. Carol was, I think, safe to say, typecast. And this scene here of her running downstairs, unrealistic lighting, but effective lighting. It's what you want to see to convey the emotion of that scene. The light being shot up the stairs, and definitely reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you see her running out of the house, but instead of getting dragged back in by Leatherface, you see Virginia and Elizabeth chasing her out with knives. And now here, this is shot day for night, so this is actually daytime when they shot this, and something they were able to pull off by shooting in black and white. Just a matter of being careful with the use of shadows and exposure. And you see her just kind of, if you pay attention closely to the background of the woods, she's kind of just running in circles. Here in the same area that they just were, just different angle. And they're referred to as Aunt Emily and Uncle Peter. So why they're doing that, how Emily and Peter fall in the family tree is another mystery. Oh, there's the same field of grass again. And this here is something you probably couldn't get away with today either. sound effects. Yeah, whatever Ralph's up to.
Are you really a wolf fan? A wolf fan, Anne?
Oh, yes. I think that...
He's had a bit to drink.
Like a wild beast.
Of course, you gotta bring up the Wolfman one more time. I like to think the use of a motel, no vacancy, that's gotta be another Hitchcock reference. Psycho.
There isn't another town for 50 miles.
I guess we shouldn't have spent all that time at the village inn.
I didn't realize how late it was getting. You lose count, they keep taking away the glasses. What was that?
Why they had to go out to that inn, get drunk, who knows why. And just a matter of getting them out of the house, I guess, so that they don't get killed, but... They just happen to pass by Bruno. You can tell he's really going off the deep end after he's accepted the fact what he's got to do with the family. And they're already back in the house. Who knows what have they done with Carol? You see here how they're playing their puzzle. It's a good way to sell how psychotic they really are. Elizabeth rips a puzzle piece in half to make it fit. Virginia's just stabbing him. Another spider. Which one they were referring to, or just all the spiders in general? To be hard to handle for the animal handler.
Cannibal spiders do.
Ripping another puzzle piece. Why would she want to do that to Ralph? They're siblings. They're protecting each other.
Bruno? Oh, no, it's Uncle Peter and that pretty lady. They've come back. Virginia, you mustn't hurt anyone else. Bruno will really hate you. He will not.
Well, I don't know why I'm just now noticing this. More Jack Hill trying to sell this as a comedy. How Peter was drunk driving. He wasn't swerving because he was drunk. He almost hit Peter, but the fact that Anne is having him behind the wheel is pretty funny. More wolves howling. Let alone because they're coming back after they were just talking about the Wolfman.
Oh, Ralph's just a big kid.
Do you really think so?
Sure.
He seems to sobered up a bit.
Hi, kid.
The lighting of the stairs have changed just because, no one's getting chased out. They don't need the emotional lighting.
Uncle Peter.
Reference to him as Uncle Peter again. They could kind of care less about Anne. They just want their uncle.
Do come in.
Huh? How about Aunt Emily? Is she around?
Yeah, where is Aunt Emily?
There's really no need to disturb anyone.
All righty. When does Mr. Bruno get back?
He'll be along by and by. Now, Uncle Peter, you just...
Why they have to be quiet? They know that nobody's listening. Ralph doesn't care. Schlocker's dead.
Take care of the pretty lady.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm sure Elizabeth knows what to do.
Well, if you really think so.
Sure. Listen, Emily is very easy to get along with when she's asleep.
Oh, well, that won't be necessary. And we'll have Daddy's room.
Daddy's room, so you know what she's about to go see.
Thank you, Elizabeth. You're really very kind. Well, good night.
Yeah. See you in the morning.
Mm-hmm. It's awfully nice. This way, pretty lady. I'm glad you came back. I like you.
A bit creepy here, coming up.
I like you too.
Even more push on the whole family inbreeding aspect.
You're a nice lady. I liked you right away. You're not like those others. Oh, Virginia likes you too. And Ralph, we all like you. And Uncle Peter too.
Maybe she can become a member of the family.
You'd never tell. No matter what Bruno says. You'd never tell. I know you wouldn't. I like you, pretty.
She saw the dad's body, similar to the scene in Psycho. And then you're seeing this, where this was shot earlier with the road worker, but now some interesting stuff has gone on with on the right with that car and the broken glass. What happened to the road worker? Whether that's intentional or not, or they just had to recycle set pieces. Who knows?
And the big black spider goes round and round and wraps the...
And there's that rocking chair. It's a recycled prop piece. We saw it in the other room.
The bug all wrapped up in a web.
Aha! I won't tell.
And as this scene plays out, just remember she's 17 years old. Who knows how old Quinn Rediker was when filming this, but another thing to add to the list of stuff that probably you couldn't get away with today.
Virginia? Hey, what's the spider do now?
What? Oh, yes. Now the spider does a little dance. Just to tease him, torment him, and make him work so that his juice will taste better.
So his juice will taste better. What she means by that, I don't know. Don't want to know.
Do you like that pretty lady?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Is this how a niece is supposed to talk to their uncle? Distant uncle.
Do you like me?
Trying to keep the family tradition.
Mr. Bruno come back.
Bruno won't hate me. He promised. Spiders like bugs. They taste good. But I guess bugs don't like spiders very much.
I like spiders. I like spiders.
I do too. Well,
Is Peter into it? Is he not into it? Is he just stupid? Is he just drunk? Seems like he might have sobered up a bit.
Virginia, what about Mr. Schlocker? Mr. Schlocker? Hey, Schlocker!
sing! Well, I have to go away for a minute. but I'll be right back. Don't go away, Bug. What are we gonna do with her? Ralph can't let go.
The lighting's changed. You don't need that dramatic lighting anymore. Just lighting the back of them. Sid Haig has gone on to say in interviews that apparently he had a flu. He was sick during the filming of this scene, and it's just not easy for him to act. He had a fever, and apparently they had a doctor on hand that would be giving him flu shots every few hours in between scenes. But he does a good job. Maybe it just added to the character as a bit of method acting, you could say.
Just make her quiet. Now, Spider's very clever. She very cleverly drains the vital juices from the bug's body. And that makes the bug stop squiggling. Would that make her stop squiggling?
I think we know how she meant that in context with Anne, but how she meant that with Peter is debatable. Well, just out of focus, shaky camera. Roger Corman would be proud. And they cut back to it. Just had working with what they got. Whether someone just didn't realize it was out of focus when they said action, or yeah. Carol's been just laying on the ground that whole time. Yeah, I think we can assume what happened to her and why she's just passed out. Why she's wanting to go back in? Oh, out of focus again. Why she's trying to go back in is confusing. Is she that mad at Ralph? Does she want Ralph?
Emily? No, Emily, I'm in here. Where you been? For heaven's sake, give me a hand. That little fiend tied me up.
The fact that Ralph did what he did and they're distant relatives, who knows what that could mean. Well, so yeah, she was just mad at Ralph. She wasn't trying to do anything else. There's a bit more tarantulas than we saw before. And why didn't they pop out for Schlocker? Oh, Bruno's finally back. What did he get? How much of Lon Chaney's mannerisms were just improvised? I'm sure plenty. I mean, this is a low-budget movie, but how he pulls it off is just believable. Very believable. Oh, this is straight out of House on Haunted Hill. She falls in a pit in her underwear. And getting a closer look of Uncle Ned, Aunt Martha, that expression on Elizabeth's face. They just turn towards the camera and
That lady hurt Ralph.
Ralph will be all well very soon. I brought that wonderful surprise I promised you.
Let me see. What is it?
so there were 3 people it looked like in that pit, not including Emily. We saw Uncle Ned, Aunt Martha.
Oh, sir, I don't know how you got yourself into this predicament, but I suggest that you leave the premises as quickly as possible.
Where's Ann? Ann, where's Ann?
Forget Emily. Where's Anne? I don't think he knows Emily's even dead yet.
If I were you, I'd hurry, sir. I'm hurrying.
What's it gonna do?
Now we're seeing his faces. That was the face of Uncle Ned, played by Elliot Fayad, who was the makeup artist for the film. Makes sense, they had to get somebody to play him. And then Joan Keller is Aunt Martha, just uncredited actor. I think her only uncredited role, just our only film in general. And that third person, that's Aunt Clara. Carolyn Cooper was Aunt Clara. And literal bookends to this movie.
But, for me anyway, a lot of good came of this. Being the only survivor, naturally I inherited the wealth of the Marys, which later turned out...
Obviously the end, close to the end. Should mention that Jack Hill has written a sequel to this movie that has never gotten produced. Appropriately titled Spider Baby 2, but also Spider Baby 2 Pollen Squirm standing for Special Quest of the Intersection of Resurrected Monsters, also just referred to as Vampire's Orgy. Supposedly taking place during the honeymoon of Peter and Anne, and we're seeing here their daughter who's 10 years old, 10 years after the whole
Mary syndrome was extinguished forever with the family that carried it.
And there was a remake released in 2023, directed by Dustin Ferguson, Jack Hill's executive producer appropriately. The cameos of Beverly Washburn and Ron Chaney. And yeah, this is an uncredited actress, this 10-year-old, but apparently a niece of one of the producers. Yeah, I guess the Mary syndrome lives on. They must have the recessive genes in Peter's genes. Well, hopefully we get to do more commentaries in the future. Let me know if you liked it, and thanks.